YouTube Nation, Main Event TV, aka Me TV, aka the Iceberg Slim Jim. Let me tell y'all something real quick, man, before we get started. Last week, I talked about Nintendo, and I talked about Tekken 8. This week, I'm going to have to do it again, because things have changed. That's right. So last week, I'm going to call that part 1, because this week is part 2 on the same topics, but different situations at this point. All right, we have more info that needs to be sold to the public. We got more things to show you when it comes to being petty, and it's absolutely ridiculous that we're seeing this. And this is not from the players. That's right, not from the gamers. No. These are on people who work on the games. These are people who work in the systems, or should I say on the systems, etc. The CEOs and all that. We're going to do all of it today. That's right. So I hope y'all ready to buckle up and go for a ride with me. Now, last week I said that Nintendo, the prices were too high. I don't understand what they were thinking. And a lot of you in the comments agreed. But you're not the only ones who agreed. Apparently, the actual community came out and agreed as well. So, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Nintendo, when they did their treehouse, they got slammed with people in their comment section talking about lower the prices. Nintendo got completely slammed. Welcome to the jam, son, as far as I'm concerned. Look, you have to understand that Nintendo is not going to budge on their prices. They're just not. And it's going to get worse as I show you as you go along. Okay? I'm letting you know that. So, buckle up. Like I said earlier, buckle up. Let's get started, because Doug Bowser. You know what? Everyone liked him for his name, you know, Bowser and Bowser. All right? We all knew this. And we said, okay, he's a relatable guy. He's a likable guy. And we all liked him for his name, but not his shitty opinions when it comes to video games. All right? Or even how he's going to set the market price and all this other bullshit that he wants to bring on. That's right. Bullshit. It's coming. All right? So, with that said, let's do it. I want to read this off to you guys. All right? This is what Doug Bowser had to say on Switch 2 game prices. What you see right there is a variable pricing. We'll look at each game, really look at the development that's gone into the game, the breadth and depth of the gameplay, if you will, the durability over time, and the repeatability of the gameplay experiences. It says, these are all factors, and there's many more that go into consideration of what is the right price point for the game. So I think you can anticipate that there will be variable pricing, and we haven't set a benchmark. He thinks we're going to fall for this? Do you think I'm going to fall? This is a bunch of bullshit. Look, I can tell a liar when I see one. You know what I mean? I can see it. Spot it out. You got to tell me that you're going to sit here and you're going to have a team sit here and say, well, this game deserves to be this price. This game deserves to be this price off of replayability and depth of the game. You know, okay, all right. Since you want to play that game, all right, we already know Mario Kart is going to be $80, $90 physical. Donkey Kong is going to be $70. So what you're telling me right now is that Donkey Kong doesn't have the replayability as Mario Kart. That's what you're telling me. You're telling me it doesn't have the depth as Mario Kart, because for those who know who plays Mario Kart, I've been playing Mario Kart 8 for a long time. The depth of stages that you can get, the DLC for it you can get, the characters you can get. I guess Donkey Kong won't have all that stuff. So, I'm sorry, Donkey Kong's in Mario Kart. But, you know, Donkey Kong, his own game, he won't have these type of things. So, therefore, it must not be worth it. That's what you're telling me. It must not be that good. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have a thing called word of mouth when it comes to gamers. You cannot trust them having a corporate structured division to say, hey, this game is going to have replayability. This game is worth such and such. This game is about, the breadth and depth of the game. No, you're going to have an entire division to do that. No, that is up to gamers. All right? Word of mouth. If a gamer decides, hey, this game is good, because let's be honest, the pricing of these things aren't going to be the same. You can find a good game for probably $60. You look $60. Well, I guess that's not good. According to Doug Bowser, that's not worth the higher price point, even though we can sit here and talk about RPGs all day. They don't really get a fair shake. But, if they get a price point of $60, therefore it must not that be good. You have to understand, this is what we're going to see now. Whenever a price point is made, and you know what? Let's talk about your vaporware. Because that's what you're doing. You're sitting here saying you're not setting a benchmark and, variable pricing. But you are setting a benchmark because you're raising a $90 fee for digital. And I will get on that because it's not physical. It's not. Now that they've admitted it, we will talk about it later. We will talk about it. All right? We will. But understand really quickly that this is something you have to watch out for. Gamers are going to talk to each other, and they should talk to each other about whether a game is good. Hey, you may want to try it. Look at trailers, look at interviews, see what they actually have to say. Because in these interviews here, all they're doing is shitting on you. That's all they're doing. And they're going to take you for granted. I'm just saying this as gamers. So with that said, let's move on. I want to move on. I want to talk about Doug Bowser. All right? Doug Bowser. Because for those who do not know, Doug Bowser used to work for EA. EA and their bullshit. They're bullshit. EA. Leaking into Nintendo. So now it's Nintendo and their bullshit. Do you get what's going on now? EA has snuck their way into Nintendo. So yeah, Doug Bowser, you're on the list, buddy. I'm letting you know that now. There's no reason why we should have to deal with this type of pricing. And the thing is, they're going to sit here and talk about, you know what? No. I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm not going to say, I was getting ready to let it go. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to wait till later to talk about this. I swear I'm going to wait. I'm just saying. So, no, in fact, let's move on to it. You know what? I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm just not. Let's move on. Nintendo says, and you got to like this, all right? Nintendo says, if you can't afford a Switch 2, buy a Switch 1. For those who do not know, this is the old tactic of the Xbox. Remember, Xbox said, well, if you don't like the capabilities and limitations of an Xbox One, buy an Xbox 360. How did that work out for Xbox? How did it work out after that comment was said? This is what, I'm telling y'all, this is how they view you. If you don't like it, buy one of our products of, lesser quality. Apparently, you can say that these days, because the Switch 2 is coming. Because that's what they're plugging you. Better quality, better gameplay, better games. That's what they're saying. So they're denouncing the Switch 1 already. But if you don't like better quality, you can always pick up the rinky-dink one and say, hey, you can pay that and say, that's fine. If you don't like the price of it. So as you saw with those comments, no matter how many people complained, going up, scrolling up, no matter how many people made a point to Nintendo to force them to come out and say, hey, you know what, we have to talk about this pricing and stuff. To sit here and say that to them, to those gamers, it tells you how tone deaf and it just... Nintendo's really stepping into it. And it's absolutely ridiculous that we are seeing this. All right? There's no reason to treat gamers like this. It didn't work for Microsoft. It's not going to work for Nintendo. But I don't, there's enough fanboys out there. We'll talk about that later. Enough fanboys out there to, to try and give this thing some legs. Let's move on. let's move on. Let's talk about the controllers. Let's talk about the controllers. For those who don't know, I'm going to get into this real quick. All right? The Joy-Cons. Just wanted to blow up my screen real quick for y'all. Nintendo says the Joy-Con 2 controllers have been designed from the ground up. They are not Hall effect sticks, but these will feel really good. All right. For those who do not know, all right, Hall effect sticks, I'm going to put it up right now. Hall effect sticks, the sensors help prevent stick drift. So what do you think is going to happen when Nintendo gets their hands on this? When you get your hands on this, when it comes day one? What do you think is going to happen? I'm just letting you know this. I'm disgusted by it. I'm disgusted. I don't understand how people can buy a so-called quality product with inferior controllers. Getting stick drift only once in a while. Again, we talked about this with stick drift last week. And yet they're still doubling down on this. Matter of fact, it's worse. It's worse. Now, people can sit here and say, well, you know what? Maybe it's a good reason. No one uses it anymore. Look, you reinvent the wheel. You don't have to. All right? All you're doing is adding to it. That's what you should be doing. Tinkering with it. Try to make it more durable. You know what I mean? But no. You're going to sit here and say, we're just going to get rid of it altogether. These controllers are going to fail. They are. Whether you like it or not. So if you're going to go out there and stand in fucking line for a Switch controller and some $80, $90 games with a price of 400 plus, price point, 450 price point, and they're telling you already, we don't care what you think about prices. We're going to scale it up and down when we want, so you can tell what the qualities of games are, in their opinion, all right? Then they're telling you, if you don't like it, then buy a Switch 1. You don't like it, buy one of our inferior products. They're going to sit here and tell you that too. They don't have any care for the consumer base or for the community. None whatsoever. But you know what? Fanboys will just let that go. They don't mind being disrespected. And we see this all the time. We saw this with Devil May Cry, right? When I did those videos. And I told you the game was shit and gave you all this ton of information on why the game is shit. And you had Devil May Cry fanboys. I'm still going to buy it. They're literally disrespecting you. Not just the game, but you as a consumer of what they're saying in the interviews. I'm still going to buy it. At some point, you got to have some self-respect. You have to. It's absolutely crazy that we're dealing with this. You know what? We're dealing with more things. Here's a little thing that everyone's getting hype about, and you shouldn't get so hype about, because there are only limitations. Again, if you don't like limitations, go buy something. Go buy the lesser stuff. Limitations. For those who don't know, the GameCube controller that's coming out for Nintendo, all right, the GameCube controller will only work with GameCube games. You cannot use the GameCube controller for any other games. Limitations. This is what they're selling you. Add-ons. This is what they're selling you. And going to sit here and say, you know what, you're stupid enough to buy it. Crazy. Crazy. I don't know. I just don't get it anymore. I don't know what Nintendo's thinking, but then again, when you got a guy from EA coming in, that's enough. All right, so GameCube cards. Let's talk about this. The GameCube cards, full of shit. They're full of shit. All right, they've made it so complicated for no reason with the GameCube card. You put it in, you still download the fucking game. All right, it's not a physical copy. You say, well, you can take it, download it on a card, and give it to your buddy or whatever. That's not a physical copy. You're still downloading digital. So Nintendo's thing is, and it says here, all right, by Tetsuya Sasaki, it says, we're already seeing that an attractive option for developers, not so much for physical collectors. Physical collectors, you're fucked. That's what they're telling you, okay? But there's more. Still, you're still buying a digital game, but with the major feature of physical games. That's what they're trying to sell you. So think about it. You're buying digital or a game key card that leads to digital. It's a digital console. That's all it is. So what? You can put it on something, a dead card and hand it over. That's not physical, really. That's not, no. For collectors like me, fucked. Fucked. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not buying a Nintendo Switch 2. Unless it comes down with some serious pricing. I already got a Steam Deck. I don't need to do all that. Because that's what it seems like they're competing with. It doesn't seem like they're competing with the PS5 or the Xbox. You don't know. They seem to be competing with the Steam Deck more than anything. Like I said, I already got a Steam Deck, B. I don't need this Nintendo Switch. I don't. But this is what they're trying to push on you. Digital games, digital games. And we see the control what happens when you have digital games. They can take that shit away from you as fast as possible. We've seen it. I understand you want to buy a digital game because it's on sale and it's a low price. Okay, I get it. All right, I understand that part. All right. But Nintendo has to have some type of reselling value when it comes to digital games. They can sell you a digital game, and not just Nintendo, all systems. All right? They can sit here and sell you a digital game at high price as a physical copy. All right? And then later, you can't trade it in. You can't resell it. You should be able to sell it back to that company. Just like you were able to, with physical copies, trade them in for, X amount of dollars at GameStop or whatever. And even though you get fucked on the trade-ins, it's still something better than just having digital and saying, you know what? I'm done with this game. It's in the ether forever. This is just, it's crazy. They should at least let you trade in a digital copy for a different copy or resell the copy back to them for a lower price. This is just fucking ridiculous, man. It just is. But like I said, Nintendo fanboys will eat this shit up. Now, this I don't know, look. YouTuber Chicken Dog, who? I've never heard of this guy. Who? Chicken Dog. What the fuck? This is who you're letting into the community now? Especially the YouTube community? We're gonna let some motherfucker named Chicken Dog in? Like we're supposed to take that shit seriously? But apparently he wants to pull stunts. So, Chicken Dog started camping outside of a Nintendo store to buy a Switch 2. The console releases in 2 months. Now, if this ain't a stunt and I've seen it, don't tell me that we're gonna sit here and do Switch 2 stuff right now. After the community fallout, what's happening, you've got to be kidding me. But you know what? I'm not surprised. This is a guy who tried to make his fame off getting an Etika tattoo. Alright? And then decided he wanted to run with the scissors. That's what he wanted to do. Ridiculous. Peasantry. That's what that is. Peasantry. But let's move on from Nintendo, man. I'm done. But I'm just letting you know, people like him are going to make it harder for people like you to raise your voices. You started doing it last week, and I love to see that. You decided to fight back, and it was great. But you know what? Nintendo said, we're not going to listen to you. Fuck you. We're going to justify our prices. That's what they're saying. They're not even trying to sit here and compromise with you at all. Now you got motherfuckers doing this and sitting outside already when he already knows he could be doing something more informative, more of quality. And helping people out, be informed of what's going on, and then let them make their decision. No, he gonna run out already for a stunt, and record it all, and this is all bullshit. I ain't got time for these fucking games. Get these motherfuckers out of here. They make it harder for you to voice your opinion or for let it to be seriously. That's all it is. That's all it is. I want to move on. Tekken 8. We talked about this last week, about the backlash of Tekken 8, right? We talked about this. All right, and how people didn't like Season 2. And it's showing more and more throughout the week that these ratings for Season 2 absolutely plummeted. Nobody likes the shit, okay? That's what it comes down to. However, this producer of Tekken 8, check this out, all right? I'm gonna blow this up for you real quick. All right, the producer of Tekken 8, he's going on Reddit threads and finding people's names, all right, who have a Twitter account and automatically block them before they can even say anything to them. What kind of mental gymnastics are we playing here? What kind? This is ridiculous. These are grown men acting like this. Are you serious? You're mad because no one likes it. You think someone's going to harass you automatically? So you're trying to prevent it from happening? No, no. Not everyone's going to harass you. You don't know these people from a can of fucking paint. And this is what you're doing. Oh, I'm just going to check out the Reddit thread. Oh, this guy doesn't like the season 2. Oh, this guy hates season 2. Therefore, they may come to me and start harassing me. Get the fuck out of here. This soft shit has to go. Ridiculous. Again, ridiculous. I'm surrounded by children. That's what I am right now. Oh my God, community, please. Please, for the love of God, for your sake, for your well-being when it comes to this type of stuff. I know some of you are very passionate about it, and some of y'all literally get sick when doing these things, when seeing these things, with arguing online with people. And you know what? It's not good for your mental health, for your patience to be, tested like this is just unreal. Because that's what it is. It's like, all right, we made our complaints. They're not listening. All right, we'll try again. The patience that it takes to do this. Like I said, man, I understand y'all want to play games, but this shit, it's a no for me. And I'm sure I'm going to come back another week and report more bullshit that Nintendo has to say. EA has to say. I should say that. EA and their bullshit. Unreal. Unreal. I hope that some of y'all have a good day. Because this news, when I read this news, dude, I was pretty fucking mad. I'm still fucking mad, as you can see. Because no one's using common sense. No one's trying to hear each other out. And then you wonder why gamers are so rabid. They're tired of not being listened to. And then you go and do this shit. Nintendo, I really hope you fail on this. I don't think it's going to happen because there's too many people who will ignore all this information I'm giving you. Because Nintendo, I'm tired of it. I'm tired. These companies just make it look, I'm telling you, Nintendo's selling $90 physical, not even physical. You know what I mean? This is bullshit. It's going to make Sony and Xbox drive their prices up. No. I can understand game collections because you're getting multiple games, so it'll probably raise the price a little bit more. That's different. But this? Nah, this ain't it. This not it. For a single game? Nah, not it at all. Let your voices be heard. Vote with your wallets. Please. In this case. Just don't run out like that other guy and be like, I'm going to sit in the, for the Nintendo Switch for 2 months. Please don't. I already pre-ordered my Switch. No, you haven't because it's been delayed. But yet you're willing to sit and wait. Given all this stuff that Nintendo's saying, all the disrespect that they're showing you, you're still going to eat it the fuck up. Just tired. And I understand you're exhausted too. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Y'all be safe. Until next time, I'm out.